So everyone had a good lunch. I hope not too heavy because you are going to have a bit of heavy session. So how many of you are already knowing about Elliot but not using it a lot? सुना है but not using it because you have found it a bit tough to follow? Okay, so what I will try and do is, I'll try to make it so simple for you, and those who don't know anything about it, so let's say we'll call them greenfield projects. So your takeaway can be, after this 1 or 2 hours of session, you will understand the basic of Elliott wave, and by using that, you will be able to find out the present trend of the market and the impending change of trend as well. And I think that should be enough, right? I mean, पूरा समझ में नहीं आया, बट इतना भी समझ में आ गया कि ट्रेंड क्या है. मतलब नॉर्मली आई यूज एलियट टू फाइंड आउट द ओवरऑल ट्रेंड ऑफ द मार्केट एंड नॉट एग्जैक्टली द टारगेट्स. सो समझ लो कि अगर 18,500 पे निफ्टी पे समझ में आ गया था कि भाई 6 महीने मार्केट डाउन रहने वाला है, देन ऑल्सो दैट शुड बी इनफ, राइट? ओके, सो व्हेन आई टॉक अबाउट एलियट, आई टॉक अबाउट द मास ह्यूमन साइकोलॉजी. And I would say, whenever I talk about technical, you are talking about mass human psychology. So I apply my technicals only on, say, index or on heavyweight stocks, and same thing goes with Elliott as well. I will apply my wave count on index and index stock mostly. I will not try to apply it on Yes Bank. I will try to apply it on Kotak Bank and HDFC Bank. I will try to apply it on SBI. I will not try to apply it on IOB. But if I get the say, for example, if I understand that overall trend is going to be up for Nifty, then obviously I can find out those stock, even if it is a small stock, which have got the positive setup, and I expect it to go up in next 3-4 months or something like that. So even if I can find out the, yeah, fine. So this is how basically I am going to use my wave. I will just find out the overall wave count of the index and use it to trade for the next 6-4 months or something like that. Okay, with that, let us go to the basic structure of Elliott wave. So how many of you have actually seen this before, these basic structures? So you guys understand the basic structure? Those who don't understand it or पहले देखा नहीं है, तो see, this is your normal higher high, higher low kind of structure. You can see it is normal higher high, higher low structure. We all understand to have a trend, uptrend or downtrend, to have an uptrend you need higher high and higher low, right? Your basic Dow theory concept. But this one refines it a bit. You can see from the chart, this Elliott says after 5 waves you start correcting. This is very basic things. So after 5 waves, if you are following just higher high and higher low, then impending trend of change you will not find out here. You will find out change of trend only over here when it is actually making the lower low, right? When you are using Elliott, you will be ready for impending change somewhere here. You guys can see the cursor on the, yeah? Okay, so when you are using Elliott, you will start finding out the impending change over here. Well, if you are using your normal higher high, higher low structure, you will know only somewhere, right? Like अगर निफ्टी में वही कर रहे होते या कोटक बैंक में वो कर रहे होते, तो right now you will start thinking about अच्छा ये lower low बना है तो अभी trend has changed. Whereas by using Elliott, you would be knowing it somewhere near to 18,000. So that is the difference Elliott makes to the normal technicals. Okay, so let us go to some very basic rules. Elliott के 3 simple rule हैं. कोई कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी नहीं, कुछ भी नहीं, वेरी सिंपल लॉ. देखो, द फर्स्ट लॉ इज वेव 2 डजंट गो बियॉन्ड द स्टार्ट ऑफ वेव 1. सो आप whenever you are plotting your wave 2, it will be something like this or maybe a bit deeper, but not beyond the start of wave 1. Very simple. It should be wave 1, 2, something like this. It cannot be wave 1 and then 2 down and 3. बहुत सिंपल है. The third one is, second rule is, your wave 3 is never the shortest wave. And when I am talking about equity, normally wave 3 is the longest and the strongest wave. ये सुना है किसी ने? That you want to trade all the time the wave 3 in the equity. So if you are not aware of that, then write it down. Whenever you use Elliott wave in equity, you want to find out wave 3. That is the time when you actually buy the option, you buy hero or zero option and everything. You never get caught by sorting the straddle or strangle in wave 3 when you are talking about equities. Then we come to wave 4. So normally wave 4 doesn't enter into the price territory of wave 1. That is the third and last law of Elliott wave. And then your wave 5. And once you complete wave 5 structure, you are going to correct this, and normal thumb rule is the correction goes towards the start of wave 5. Or you can say the end of wave 4. So once you are here and you are impending that this is where your wave 1 is ending, the impending correction will go towards somewhere like here. थोड़ा बहुत समझ में आया? We'll take one example to make it very clear. Okay, पहले एक और देख लेते हैं. Okay. So this kind of wave structure will be present almost in all time frame. It will be present there in daily, it will be present in there in hourly, it will be present there on weekly. So let us say this one was a daily, and if I zoom out to see the weekly chart, then it will look something like this. See, this one was the earlier chart, 1, 2. Now this one was wave 1 at a lower degree, and this one is a wave 1 at higher degree. यहाँ पे पूरा wave 1 daily में खत्म हुआ था, your correction will be something like this. And अगर weekly में पूरा wave 1 खत्म हुआ है तो your correction will be something like this. See, this is the Kotak Bank chart. This is the wave count on Kotak Bank chart. I talked about this chart on Twitter account when Kotak Bank was somewhere around 2200. At that time, your wave count was saying that I am completing wave 5, and जो wave 5 दिख रहा है, उसमें भी you are completing 5 complete wave. So if I zoom into this structure, you will find something like this. See, you can find the 5 structure in 5 as well. Are you guys following me? Yeah. So fifth का भी fifth खत्म हो रहा है 2200 पे. So think about that. When everybody was buying Kotak Bank at 2100, 2200, and if you are following your wave count, you are finding it to be somewhere here. You guys can see the cursor? है ना? So you are thinking that this is where the Kotak Bank is, and now you are thinking about okay, this will go to something like this. तो ये जो level आ रहा था वो something like 1600. So at 2200, I was talking about that get out of the Kotak Bank, this one can go to something like 1600. तो आज का ही लो it should be somewhere around 1700, right? Okay, so this was about Kotak, and another chart is SBI. See, SBI, if those guys who follow me on Twitter, you would have found that I talked about this chart on Twitter just 10-15 days back. How many of you guys have seen this? I talked about this at 540, 550 that SBI can correct towards 400. And now if you understand the names, so you can also find that fifth में भी 5 खत्म हो रहे हैं, and this is your area of wave 4 where you are expecting SBI to go. Simple समझ में आ रहा है ना? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 तो. See, it was completing clear 5 wave, and then what you are expecting is to go something like this. This was your basic structure. See, if you are completing it with this, you are looking at something like this. So at that time, SBI has come out with the quarterly result, right? It was an excellent result. Everything was good. And who will talk about 540 because this one will go to 400? I got a lot of feedback when I put up this chart that is never going to happen. And right now, today only we have seen this at 430, right? 430, 440, something like that. Same thing goes with Bank of Baroda. Okay, I am writing something like ending diagonal over here that you won't understand right now. We will discuss about that. Okay, in the chart when we look at the different types of chart. See, BOB was also completing 5 wave, and my target would be something like 60 in next 4 to 6 months. Okay, with that, we go to the types of waves. We'll not go too much into the details of the types. We'll understand 3 or 4 basic patterns जो काफी repetitive हैं, easy to spot हैं, and easy to trend हैं. Because you don't need to learn everything about it. अगर 30-40% भी समझ में आ गया बहुत है. See, there are 2 type of wave जैसे हम लोगों ने basic figure में देखा. This is motive phase, and the one in the on the left of the screen is corrective. So we'll talk about the motive wave and corrective wave. So motive wave structure is easier to trade relative to the corrective one. So we'll normally talk about trading when we are in the motive waves. This motive wave is normally the 5 wave structures. Oh, okay. When I say trending in the same direction of wave at one larger degree, then what I mean is, see, this wave 1 is trending in the same direction of this wave 1. This is the primary trend, and this wave 1 is also trending in the same direction. So that is why this one is a motive wave and this one is a corrective wave. Why I am talking this is, this will be useful when you are deciding whether to buy option or whether to sell option. I have seen a lot of people who are say option seller. There are people who are say option buyer. So what I am option buyer when there is a motive wave, and I am option seller when there is a corrective wave. I will never sell option in the motive time because everybody wants to find out where they should be selling option when they want to avoid selling the option, right? अभी जो एक महीने में हुआ option seller have not made money. Instead they have lost a lot. So if you know this is going to be a impulsive wave down, you are not going to sell the option, right? So what I will do is I will be buyer of the option when there is a motive move, and I will be the seller of the option when there is a corrective move. So that is why understanding the different types of wave, different phase of wave is important to decide that whether you are going to buy the option or whether you are going to trade by selling the option. Okay, corrective is mostly the 3 wave structure, and we'll see in the detail of the charts that how exactly you are using the correction. Okay, we go a bit detail into the motive waves. There are 2 types of motive waves. One is impulse, another thing is a diagonal triangle. जो पहले देखा था ending diagonal and all. So impulse is the most common structure, and let's say 70-80% of time you will file your motive structure to be impulse, where wave 4 doesn't enter the price territory of wave 1. बस simple वही है कि wave 4 doesn't enter the price territory of wave 1. That is your impulse wave. And this is the wave impulse in the motive as well, where you are buying lot of option. You are buying all hero or zero option in your impulse wave. And in impulse wave, one of the 5 waves extends. Normally, say 70% of time, only one of the wave extends, either wave 1, 3 or 5. And in equity, 80% of time, I have found wave 3 to be the extended wave. See, this is how the extended wave will look like. ये थोड़ा detail में हो गया compared to the earlier side. See, this one is an extended wave 1, then 2, 3, 4, 5. This one is an extended wave 3. This one is an extended wave 5. See, this is the extension in practical. You can see the Nifty chart. This is a weekly Nifty chart. And I have talked about this chart many a time on Twitter. And in between, here also I talked about the wave 3 खत्म हो रहा है. At that time I was talking about हम लोगों ने बहुत option buying कर लिया. Next 3-4 months we will be trading by selling the option traded as triangle. See, इतना भी समझ में आ गया कि एक impulse खत्म हो रहा है और correction चालू हो रहा है. तो what you will do, you will shift your strategy from option buying to option selling. That is how I do. I am not an option buyer all the time. I am not option seller all the time. I am option buyer when there is impulsive move, and I am option seller where there is a corrective move. So see here it was 5, 6, 7 months of sideways action, and you would have made a lot of money by selling the option, whereas you would have got used to buy the option on these things, and you need to decide when you are going to put up a break. And here it was completing 5 wave. To me, Nifty has completed full wave 1, and we are correcting wave. And this correction can last something over here. This is what your can be target. And another thing, when wave 3 is extended, your impending correction can go to the 4th of wave 3 as well. So this can also be your target. So this is something which is say 13,000, 13,500, and this one comes to like 15,500. 15,500 almost we have seen. Okay, another type of motive wave is a diagonal triangle. Now this diagonal triangle in itself are difficult to trade, but what is easy to trade is what happened afterwards. Once you have completed diagonal triangles, the next move is going to be a sharp, and that is what you trade. We'll see how. In diagonal triangle, the way it is different is the wave 4 enters into the price territory of wave 1, and so that is why it looks like a corrective wave, but it is an emotive wave. It will be overlapping wave, whereas in impulse you don't want to see the overlapping wave. Or internal count also, in impulse you find the 5 wave moves, but in diagonal triangle you will find 3 as well as 5. We'll see the example of these diagonal triangles. Okay, There are two type of one diagonal triangles happens in the end of the wave move, so which is we called ending diagonal. That is normally the termination point of a larger pattern. So normally you will find ending diagonal as a wave 5 of overall structure. You will find it normally at wave C as well. Yeah, so what I said is what happens afterwards is more important. Once you find the ending diagonal, the next move will be full and violent retracement of the same. Fifth wave में अगर ending diagonal है, there will be a fast move towards the start of the wave 5. See, this is how it will look like. This is your ending. You can see the ending diagonal in 5. Trading the ending diagonal itself is difficult, but once you spot it कि ending diagonal हो गया है, उसके बाद what you will get is a sharp move towards the start of wave 5. See, trending this one is going to be very difficult, but once you spot it, then that next move will be straight away towards the start of wave 5. Same goes here. If you find the ending diagonal over here, the next move is going to be direct move towards the wave 4. See, this is how it look like in practical. See, this chart I discussed in the TC of 2020, March 2020. उस टाइम पे निफ्टी वॉज डूइंग समथिंग लाइक दिस. हम लोग वहाँ पे थे से फॉर एग्जाम्पल मार्च 5 और 6 2020 में. उस टाइम पे भी डिस्कस दिया दिस इज द एंडिंग डायगोनल एंड एट दैट टाइम निफ्टी वॉज समवेयर अराउंड 11700 11800 व्हाटएवर क्लोजर टू 12000 एंड वी वर टॉकिंग अबाउट दैट वी आर लुकिंग फॉर अ मूव 10000 एंड लोअर because this was ending diagonal. It is starting is 10,000. It will move fast to the 10,000 level. The recent one is SBI, of course. See, here also wave 4 goes into the price territory of wave 1. So I consider this as ending diagonal. This chart I put just 10-15 days back, and what we have is from 550 to 430 SBI. This one is something like even 300. So I am expecting this one to move somewhere here. But I have just talked about 400 because अगर 550 पे I would have talked about कि SBI can go to 300, I would lose 2-3,000 followers. What rubbish this guys are talking about? Especially after getting a tremendous quarterly result. Who will dare to talk about it? 550 के 300 का level आएगा. If I talk about, a lot of people will be listening because it has already moved from 550 to say 450, 430. But with the understanding, even if whatever understanding you have got now, you can understand why I am talking about that, right? See what has happened in SBI now, in just no time. See, BOB also has a much bigger ending diagonal. See, this one is more telling. So, इसका भी target होगा fast retracement towards the start of wave 4, which is somewhere around 50 to 60. So if you have this kind of knowledge, what we do is when you say Kotak Bank at 2200 and if it starts moving towards 2000, everybody will jump in to buy it, right? Because you are getting something like Kotak Bank 10% down and you want to buy it. But if you have the knowledge of waves and you think that the move can go to 1600, 1700, in between का छोड़ो कुछ भी buy नहीं किया, कुछ भी trade नहीं किया, but at least you are buying now, not at 2000. Well, this mistake a lot of people did in the fall of say March 2020. Lot of my friends, clients who started buying Bajaj Finance at 4,000. It started falling from say 45 to 4,800 से 4,000 तक आ गया था. तो that is a mistake people make. Started buying at 4,000, 3,500 पे और एवरेज किया, पूरा भर दिया, 3,000 पे और किया, आजू बाजू वाले का घर बेच के ले लिया और फिर पता चला 2,000 आ गया. Just you were right in buying Bajaj Finance कि अच्छा स्टॉक है, गिर रहा है तो you should be buying. Simple, कुछ नहीं है, लॉजिक नहीं है. और only thing है you should have waited a bit more. Same goes here. If SBI is falling from say 550 तो 500 से भी 500 से लोगों ने भर भर के बाय करा because 10% डाउन आ रहा है, blue chip which has delivered an excellent result, you are buying at 500. But with this even little knowledge, you will not start buying before 400, right? And in waiting, you are already getting it today at 430, right? So it is almost 20-30% lower than what it was a month back. So थोड़ा बहुत भी समझ में आ गया तो it is more than enough. You don't need to find out exactly कैसे नीचे आएगा. Getting it? Same goes to BOB. Everybody was buying because BOB ने breakout दे दिया था and everything. People were buying 110, 120 जा रहा है, 100 के नीचे तो फटाफट buy करेंगे. आज ही 10% ठोका हुआ है 100 के नीचे लाके. So you are not going to buy it before 60, 70. Of course, it may not come in say for example this month itself. It may come because वैसे भी market का correction काफी हो चुका है. We can start having a rally at any time, but that we don't need to find out. We know that well, just wait for 3-4 months and I will be able to buy it somewhere between 50 and 60. This is the latest talk I talked about on Twitter. Vedanta, because everybody is buying metal commodity to hedge their short position because that is the one which is rising, right? So in Vedanta also I am finding the ending diagonal. 5 wave खत्म हो रहा है और 5th में भी ending diagonal is about to end. हाँ, maybe it is possible एक और high बाकी है which takes it to 420. Right? Why I will talk about it as because just look in detail about this ending diagonal. जो wave 1 जो ABC में है 3 wave में है, this C wave is more than 161 261 kind of percentage of wave 1. See, this C wave is much larger than this wave A. Same goes over here in third wave. So in this 5th also I am expecting this one should go a tad higher. So maybe it will go to 420 or something like that. But then what I am trying to do is trying to find out exact top, which I actually don't need to do. If I am holding Vedanta, what I will do is I will try to sell it somewhere near to 400. And if I want to buy the puts, I will start buying the puts of 350 or 360 or whatever. And if it goes to 420, I will start buying the 400 put of the next series. I'll just show you how exactly I have traded IndusInd Bank. I have talked about the chart of IndusInd Bank just a week, 10 days back on my Twitter. At that time, it was trading around 980, 990 or something like that. On that particular day, it was actually outperforming the Bank Nifty. Bank Nifty was down by say 300, 400 points and IndusInd Bank was up by 2%. So at that time, I have shown the clear corrective structure which was about to end. The corrective structure itself has started from 800 and it was about 200 point structure. And I talked about इसको sort करो, puts buy करके और whatever you want to do, you will find it below 800. So at that time, 900 के March के puts were available at say 15-20 rupees and 800 वाले 4-5 रुपए वाले. 15-20 वाले option is now at 100 और 5 वाले भी possible है कि 100 जाएंगे. So what exactly the correction was, that also I will talk about in the next wave. Okay, so we have seen the ending diagonal and there is another one is a leading diagonal. Only difference, चलो 5 और internal count में नहीं जाते हैं. Only difference is this one happens in the start of the wave 1. You will normally find many a times when there is a sharp decline, the wave 1 doesn't start that freely because everybody want to, because सबका mindset ये हो गया थोड़ा भी rally आए तो short करना है. So that's why wave 1 will not be delivered into a full impulse. It will be an overlapping structure and then that is why it called a leading diagonal. Again, the difference between leading diagonal and ending diagonal is leading diagonal will not be fully retraced. जबकि ending diagonal will be fully retraced because it is a wave 5. This one is a wave 1. Next what is coming is wave 2 and we have seen wave 2 doesn't go beyond the start of wave 1. Right? So this one will be heavily retraced, something like 60%, 70% of the wave 1 and then the third wave will start. So what happens in the third wave, it is more important. You are not going to trade the wave and starting diagonal itself, but what you will trade is starting diagonal हुआ है तो heavily retrace होगा 60-70% and then the wave 3 will be at least 261% of that wave 1. See, here there was leading diagonal. You guys can spot it? This one was not full impulse. This one was overlapping wave 1. And then there was a wave 2 which retraced almost 60% of wave 1 and then you had 3rd, 4th, 5th in LLT. So this move was 261% of this wave 1. So you guys are so this is something which has happened in the past. You want to see what is, you want to find out a stock which is actually right now over here and you are expecting something like this. Yeah? Because this is what you want to find out, right? So what chart we are going to see next is everyone's favorite, but nobody is expecting it to move up because it is always remaining around 200 points, irrespective of where the market is. Right? It's मेरे favorite है, सबका favorite है, सबके पास है, कोई बोलेगा नहीं मेरे पास है. So you can find the overlapping start of wave 1 over here. Now you can recognize the starting diagonal. How many of you can recognize this is a diagonal because wave 4 is getting into wave 1? Right? This wave 2 can, either it is over, I don't think it is over. This one can still go below 200. In next 3-4 months, maybe you will find it below 200, something like 180, 170, whatever. And what do you expect afterwards? Big rally in wave 3, right? I mean, it can be 161, 261%. Nobody is going to talk about ITC like this on the month. Who will say that ITC can go to 500 in next 2-3 years? Now with even this simple knowledge, simple understanding, you can see I am making some sense, right? because this is this structure. You can recognize this now. यहाँ पे पूरा नाम नहीं बताया, यहाँ पे दिखाया हुआ है, that's it. This is where you are. In somewhere here you are in ITC right now. Maybe another 2, 3, 4 weeks or 2, 3 months to go before the rally starts. See, this was an example of starting diagonal in DLF. When you get the starting diagonal, you know there will be a rally 60-70%. And if you would have spotted this, when this one started rising like this, most of the people will think about the next high. Jabki you guys who have spotted this starting diagonal, who will look to sell it over here, thinking that it is going way below this one. थोड़ा बहुत समझ में आया अभी? Same thing happened in Nifty. After wave 5, Nifty का चार्ट दिखा मैंने कि 5 wave complete हुए थे यहाँ पे somewhere here. And after that, we spotted the starting diagonal. This was all 3 wave structure overlapping, and I called it a starting diagonal. And we knew that there will be a heavy retracement toward the start of over here. थोड़ा ज़्यादा हो गया था. I was thinking it should be something around 18,000, but 200-300 पॉइंट ज़्यादा हो गया था 18,000 से. And then what has happened, you all guys know. So what we were doing over here is just buying the 17,000, 18,000 के longer tenure puts, 3 months, 6 months, whatever, because you had this structure in mind. Okay, starting diagonal हुआ है, there will be a heavy retracement, and then you will have the wave C. Okay, with that we go to the corrective moves. See, this difference between, in earlier slide we have talked about what is the motive structure and what is the corrective structure. The main difference between these two guys is, there are a lot, in motive there are only 2 types, right? Is impulse and diagonal triangle. There are plenty of type in corrective wave. And simple एक rule बताओ, जब समझ में नहीं आया ना क्या हो रहा है exact wave, तो समझ लो corrective wave है. जब easily spot होता है तो वो impulse है, जब समझ में नहीं आता तो corrective है. तो अगर समझ में नहीं आता, let it be. बिकॉज पूरा करेक्शन खत्म होगा तब समझ में आएगा कि एग्जैक्ट फेस क्या बना है. अभी सपोज निफ्टी में डाउन हो रहा है 18,500 से बिलो 16,000, तो यू आर नॉट बीन एबल टू नेम इट प्रॉपरली. ये पूरा नेम तभी समझ में आएगा जब पूरा करेक्शन खत्म होगा. एंड वो बोलता है ना कि यू कैन नॉट प्रेडिक्ट द मार्केट. यू गाइस हैव हर्ड अबाउट इट. लॉट ऑफ पीपल, क्रिटिक्स ऑफ टीए सेज यू कैन नॉट प्रेडिक्ट द मार्केट. नो वन कैन प्रेडिक्ट द मार्केट, राइट? सो हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू बिलीव दैट नो वन कैन प्रेडिक्ट द मार्केट? Everybody believes that they can predict the market. Okay, there are few. I would say this sentence is half true. Like no one can predict the market all the time. It's the full sentiment. What I decide for myself is I can predict certain patterns, but I cannot define all the patterns. So what I tell to myself is I cannot predict the market all the time with precision. So if I am thinking that I'll find SBI at say 300, I won't try to find out exactly कैसे move होगा. So this is what about the correction. So what I do in corrective moves, normally क्या होता है, I mean जो भी पैसा impulse में बनाया होता है, lot of money we lose in correction. So what I do with my own portfolio, trading portfolio I am talking about, कि suppose से for example मेरा trading portfolio है 50 लाख का. When I define कि correction starts हो रहा है, जैसे मैंने define किया निफ्टी में कि I am going to have correction from 18,500, so मैं 50 लाख का portfolio जो trading है वो 15 लाख का कर दूंगा. Because that is the only way I can put break on my trading. बिकॉज अदरवाइज क्या होता है कि जो भी इम्पल्स में कमाया हुआ है वो सारा करेक्शन में छोड़ेंगे. इवन इफ यू नो दैट करेक्शन इज गोइंग टू 18,500 से 15,000 आएगा, इवन विद दैट नॉलेज ऑल्सो यू देर आर चांसेस ऑफ लूजिंग, बिकॉज वो इजीली नहीं आएगा. इट विल बी ओवरलैपिंग. सबने देखा होगा अभी रिसेंटली कैसा था मार्केट, मतलब इट वॉज गोइंग अप डाउन. अभी थोड़ा स्मूथली डाउन आ रहा है पिछले एक आध हफ्ते से. अदरवाइज इट वॉज अप डाउन. यू आर नॉट एबल टू फाइंड आउट एक्जैक्टली वॉट इज हैपनिंग. सो दो यू आर सेलिंग द रैलीज, इट वॉज डिफिकल्ट टू फाइंड आउट एक्जैक्टली वॉट इज गोइंग टू बी. So what I do is 50 लाख का ट्रेडिंग पोर्टफोलियो उसको 15 लाख का कर दूंगा. That is the only way I can put the break on this. Because what I will do in corrective time is I will take a break out of trading. Because सब लोगों को लगता है कि ट्रेडिंग इज द इजीएस्ट जॉब. काफ़ी लोगों ने ये जॉब छोड़ के भी दे हैव स्टार्टेड ट्रेडिंग इन कोविड टाइम, राइट? बिकॉज दे स्टार्टेड फीलिंग कि भाई पैसा बनाना तो यही है. बट वॉट आई फाउंड इज ट्रेडिंग F&O continuously is a stressful job. How many find it a stressful job? Right? It increases your stress level exponentially than any other task. मतलब कोई भी काम में इतना स्ट्रेस नहीं है, because you can lose 4-5% of capital in a week time in any day. So this is a stressful job and you need to realize that this is what it is. And if I want to see myself trading at the age of say 55 or 60 as well, then I need to manage my physical health as well, because it is a physically challenging job. Or else क्या होगा, एक्सपीरियंस के बिना तो ट्रेडिंग समझ में नहीं आएगा. मतलब एनीबडी हु इज ट्रेडिंग जस्ट बाय 2-3 years विल नॉट डू बेटर देन somebody who is trading since last 15 years, given everything else is same. So समझ में आने में, अपने स्ट्रैटेजी डेवलप करने में, पैसा डेवलप, मतलब यू नीड टू हैव लार्ज कैपिटल. लाइक किसी के पास अगर 5-10 लाख रुपए हैं तो ही शुड नॉट बी डूइंग F&O ट्रेडिंग. इफ यू वांट टू डू द F&O ट्रेडिंग, इट इज मीन फॉर रिच पीपल. F&O ट्रेडिंग इज सिंपली नॉट फॉर द पुअर पीपल. मतलब इफ मेरा सैलरी है 50,000 का, उसमें घर चलाना है और फिर F&O ट्रेडिंग करना है, प्लीज डोंट डू दैट. अल्टीमेटली यू आर गोइंग टू लूज. दिस इज रिच मैन्स गेम. सो रिच मैन बनने में भी टाइम लगा होगा 10-15 साल. तो 30-35 पे यू आर स्टार्टिंग, एंड इफ यू आर नॉट मैनेजिंग योर फिजिकल हेल्थ प्रॉपरली, यू विल हैव टू गिव इट अप एट 40 or 45, राइट. So if you want to continue doing it at up to 55 or 60, you will have to maintain your physical health. So that is why whenever the correction starts, I reduce my trading point size. मेरा 50 लाख का पोर्टफोलियो 15 लाख कर दिया, बिकॉज सी अभी क्या हो रहा है निफ्टी में, बैंक निफ्टी में, मतलब आज ये 2000 बैंक निफ्टी का ट्रेड है, राइट. 2000 बैंक निफ्टी में मूवमेंट है. तो विद दैट यू डोंट नीड टू एक्चुअली ट्रेड द 5 लॉट्स. जो 5 लॉट में मूवमेंट आने वाली थी वो 2 लॉट में भी आ रही है. मतलब एक्सपेक्टेड जो अपना प्रॉफिट था, जो 10 लॉट से खेल रहा था, उसको 3 लॉट में उतना पॉइंट्स मिल रहा है. तो वाई टू प्ले विद द सेम 10 लॉट्स. यू रिड्यूस योर सेम साइज टू 10 लॉट से 33 लॉट्स. सो योर स्ट्रेस विल गो डाउन. फिर भी पैसा तो सेम ही बनेगा, बिकॉज 3 लॉट में जितना बनेगा वो 10 लॉट जैसा ही बनेगा. ठीक है. सो व्हाट आई डू इज आई गिव अ ब्रेक टू माई सेल्फ ड्यूरिंग द करेक्शन टाइम. Like those who follow me on Twitter, you will find me, I put some of the restaurant pics in the weekend, I put some of the mall pics, if I'm going out somewhere, I will put out those things. Why I do that? Because I am taking a break out of trading in the weekend. I am not looking at SGX Nifty, and I want you guys also to do the same thing. Because जो भी पूरा स्ट्रेस है मंडे टू फ्राइडे में, वो पूरा छोड़ना है सैटरडे संडे में, बिकॉज नेक्स्ट फ्राइडे तो फिर से स्ट्रेस लेना ही लेना है. अभी जस्ट हम लोग यस्टरडे डिस्कस कर रहे थे कि माई सेशन विल बी इंस्टेड ऑफ मॉर्निंग, आई विल हैव द सेशन इन द सेकंड हाफ. तो आई वाज थिंकिंग यार ये थोड़ा हैवी हो जाएगा, वैसे भी लंच किया होगा सबने तो हैवी हो जाएगा. देन आई स्टार्टेड थिंकिंग एनीवे मार्केट इज सो स्ट्रेसफुल, नोबडी विल बी एबल टू स्लीप एनीवे. जो लोग लॉन्ग है उसको तो वीकेंड में भी नींद नहीं आई होगी, और जो शॉर्ट है उसको नींद नहीं आएगी. तो पैसा इतना बन रहा है, कौन सोएगा, राइट. तो बोथ ऑफ गाइज आर नॉट गोइंग टू स्लीप. आई सेड ओके, कीप इट सेकंड हाफ, नोबडी इज गोइंग टू स्लीप. So what I do is, whenever there is correction or even in a weekend, to keep you physically fit, you just take a break, and correction is the best way to take a break. Because उस टाइम पे पता है कि पैसे जाने वाला है. Because what I do is, suppose मेरे last 10 years में मैंने जितना भी ट्रेडिंग किया है, और उसमें से अगर मेरे 30% of loss making trade I remove out of all the trade, then also my capital will be substantially higher. Forget about increasing the winning trade. Just decreasing the loss making trade is also enough, right? So इसमें से सिर्फ इतना भी समझ में आता है कि अच्छा अभी करेक्शन है, आई वॉन्ट बी एबल टू प्रेडिक्ट द मार्केट, लेट अस डिक्रीज द ओवरऑल साइज ऑफ द ट्रेड. दैट इज ऑल्सो मोर देन इनफ, बिकॉज योर लॉस मेकिंग ट्रेड विल रिड्यूस. अदरवाइज व्हाट हैपन्स, जो भी इंपल्स में पैसा बनाए हैं, अभी यू विल लिसन दिस फ्रॉम लॉट ऑफ पीपल नाउ, कि साला जो भी निफ्टी रैली में बनाया था वो सारा घुस गया है अंदर. होता है, काफी लोग सुनेंगे और काफी लोगों के पास हुआ भी होगा ऐसा. So what I do is, when there is a correction, I actually enjoy the money which I have made in the rally. जो impulse way में पैसे बनाए easily, I will start enjoying that instead of trying to do more and more. Okay, we'll quickly look at the types of corrective wave. See, zigzag और flat में ज़्यादा difference नहीं है. Only difference is कि zigzag में ये 5-3-5 structure होगा. You can see the 5-3-5 structure, and this B wave will not move too much into the price trajectory of wave A. तो ये सम 23-38% रिट्रेसमेंट होगा, जबकि अगर फ्लैट होगा तो दिस विल बी समथिंग मोर लाइक 60-70%. ओनली थिंग टू अंडरस्टैंड, द करेक्टिव वेव्स आर गोइंग टू बी 3 वेव स्ट्रक्चर, वाइल मोटिव वेव आर गोइंग टू बी अ 5 वेव स्ट्रक्चर. इतना बेसिक समझ में आ जाए बहुत है. सी दिस इज अ फ्लैट, अगेन एज आई सेड द बी विल मूव मच टुवर्ड्स वेव ए, जबकि यहाँ पे दिस वॉज वेव बी. इन फ्लैट यू विल फाइंड वेव ए टू बी द 3 वेव स्ट्रक्चर. Here you will find the wave A as a 5 wave structure. There are more kind of flat structure, but you can, those who are beginner can skip this slide. Okay, this is how the correction looks like on a weekly. See, this was a 3 wave structure. Once you find the completion of wave C, you know what is going to do. You will retrace it fully. See, I'll show some easier charts. See, I'll tell you the difference between what is happening in IndusInd and RBL or in SBI or Kotak and RBL. हमने कोटक का चार्ट देखा, SBI का चार्ट देखा, उसमें we have found 5 wave structure. याद है सबको? SBI was a 5 wave structure. तो जो correction होगा, it will be a 3 wave and वो 2020 लो के नीचे नहीं जाने वाला है. It will be 300 or 400 whatever, but वो जो 150 लो था वहाँ पे नहीं जाएगा. जबकि RBL बैंक में क्या हुआ है? From 2020 it has moved only in 3 wave. There is no 5 wave structure. So यहाँ पे क्या होगा? This correction will take it below 100, below this price. So by finding out that this was not impulsive move, this was corrective move, you are not going to do bottom fishing in RBL bank for now. ये जाएगा डबल डिजिट में तब देखेंगे. अगर डिफरेंट इंडसइंड बैंक में नया लोन नहीं आएगा, SBI में नहीं आएगा, कोटक में नहीं आएगा, BOB में भी नहीं आएगा. You will find the lower low in RBL bank. See, this was my IndusInd bank chart. This I talked about maybe just 10 days back. So कितना इन्फॉर्मेशन था मेरे पास? I have completed the 5 wave structure. Declining में मेरा A खत्म हुआ था और B भी खत्म हुआ था. So I was somewhere here when I was talking about 985. Right? What I was expecting is something like this. A, B, C kind of fall I was expecting. And I was somewhere here on wave B. And what has happened after that? From 980, we have already seen it crashing to 830. And see how I am trading is where I don't want to take a risk, because IndusInd is not something where you want to take 15 lot short kar diye. Because if I am wrong, I can blow up the account. Right? So what I did is, जब 985 के था, March के puts were available, 900 के put, because what I was expecting a large move. I was not expecting a smaller move. What I was expecting, wave C will be something like this. It will be equivalent to wave A. So यहाँ से अगर मैं ट्रैक काउंट करना चालू करूँ तो it can go up to something like say 700, 600, 500. So what I was doing is मैंने 900 के पुट्स बाय किए, 800 के पुट बाय किए, सब मतलब पूरा लेडर बाय कर दिया. तो 900 का पुट था 15-17 रुपये का, जो आज 100 में जा रहा है. 800 वाले पुट थे 4-5 रुपये के, जिसकी प्राइस भी आज 30-35 तो है ही, बट अभी 900 वाले में पूरा बुक कर दिया, 800 वाले छोड़ दो. अगर यहाँ से थोड़ा ऊपर जाता है नेक्स्ट एक वीक में और सो, देन आई विल बाय अप्रैल के सेम थिंग 800 के पुट्स. तो मेरा एक्सपोजर इतना बड़ा नहीं है, मतलब अगर नॉर्मल 30 लाख का भी अकाउंट है तो माई एक्सपोजर इज नॉट मोर देन 70-80,000. अगर ये इतना करने के बाद भी अगर ये मूव नहीं आया, इफ आई एम रॉन्ग, देन व्हाट आई विल लूज इज 70-80,000 मैक्सिमम. एंड इफ आई एम गेनिंग इज, तो अगर आज भी जो बुक कर दिया वो 4-5 लाख बुक कर दिया, और जो 4-5 रुपये के है वो भी 100 हो सकता है, बिकॉज एक्सपेक्टेशन क्या है 700 का है. तो 800 वाला भी 5 रुपये वाला जो आज 30 है, इट कैन गो टू 100. तो वो मैंने छोड़ दिया सारे के सारे. आई विल कीप इट होल्डिंग इट टिल एक्सपायरी. जो भी अगर यहाँ से बाउंस होता है तो 900 वाला तो वैसे भी बुक कर दिया, पैसे तो है मेरे पास. व्हाट आई विल डू, 800 के अप्रैल के बाय कर लूँगा. This is how I use a strategy, because I don't want to use a lot of capital during the correction time, because I know this is a corrective phase and I don't want to use all of my capital. So this is how I do the risk management. I understand now 830 तो हो गया यहाँ से. See, you guys can see the 3 wave structure now. It was ABC. अभी थोड़ा बहुत समझ में आ गया. This is a 3 wave structure. It is a corrective move, and because it is a corrective, you expect this one to move below this one at least. So ये suppose roughly 1000 है और ये roughly 800 है, तो 1000 पे तुमको पता है कि भैया 800 के नीचे जाना है इसको. So this is the beauty of wave principle, that it starts talking about lower level right over here. Whereas if you are using normal technical Dow theory or whatever, you will start talking about bearishness only below this one, right? If you are using wave structure, आपको पता है यहाँ का पूरा वेव तुम्हारा खत्म हो गया है, because this was your wave A, this one was wave B, B3 वेव खत्म हो चुका है. You are expecting wave C to go down again. Same thing happened in Tata Steel here. It was A, triangle, wave B and wave C. Triangle is another type of correction which is my favorite. If you are following me on Twitter, you will see that I am talking about a lot of triangle, because trading triangle itself is difficult, but what happens after triangle is very good. See here I was seeing that there is a wave B triangle completion. आपका stop loss कितना था यहाँ का, अगर चालू किया short करना तो hardly the wave C का high. अगर if you are shorting, मतलब यहाँ पे ये पैटर्न समझ में आ गया कि ये ट्राइंगल खत्म हो रहा है, your stop loss is just the size of wave, मतलब hardly 10-15 points, and your target was the size of wave A. So something like this. तो 15-20 रुपये का स्टॉप लॉस था और 200-300 रुपये का टारगेट था. मतलब this is the kind of target your Elliot gives you. I'll just show the types of triangle that you can expect in Elliot terms. So this is symmetrical triangle, और ऐसा ही एक होता है reverse symmetrical. यहाँ पे क्या है? It is going downwards. The wave C is smaller than wave A. It is within the boundaries of wave A. Wave D is within the boundary of wave B. In reverse symmetrical में क्या होता है? This is rare. I have spotted this once and I talked about this on Twitter. This is rare, but I found it on S&P, the large reverse symmetrical triangle. Anyone else did find this? I don't think anybody would have found it. This is what it was looking like in S&P 500 weekly chart. You guys can understand the wave now. See, this is reverse symmetrical triangle, where wave C is larger than wave A, wave D is larger than wave B, and this is what wave E was doing. See, this is the pattern and this is what it looks in book. ये देखा, ये books का है. This is in books, and this was a live market. You can spot almost similar. How many of you can understand this now? This is reverse symmetrical, and once you can identify this pattern, you know the whole correction पूरा यहाँ खत्म हुआ इतना, मतलब 2 साल का correction खत्म हुआ है. So you know what kind of rally you are expecting now. The triangle normally you find in wave 4, in overall wave 4 or the wave 4 of wave 3. See, earlier जो निफ्टी का काउंट बताया था उसमें this was a triangle. मैंने यहाँ पे स्टार्ट बोलना चालू किया था आगे, अभी नेक्स्ट 3-4-5 मंथ तक डोंट बाय द ऑप्शन, प्ले बाय सेलिंग द स्ट्रेडल. सो दिस वाज अ टाइम टू सेल द स्ट्रेडल्स, दिस ऑल टाइम. सो ओके, व्हाट आई वाज एक्सपेक्टिंग इन निफ्टी वीकली, तो ये तो सब एलियट का था. एक सिंपल चार्ट है मेरे पास विच एवरीबडी अंडरस्टैंड. सबको ट्रेंड लाइन बनाना आता है ना, एवरीबडी नोज हाउ टू ड्रॉ द ट्रेंड लाइन. वेरी बेसिक ट्रेंड लाइन, just connect too high or too low or something like that. So this is what I found. I found it interesting, so I thought about talking it. It is very simple chart. Look at this, is a long-term monthly chart. It is not in a log. It is a normal chart. See, this was a correction. This was a breakout here, and when the correction started, it tested the breakout line. Right? This was the earlier breakout here, and this was a test of breakout. So very simple understanding. You know, this was the breakout line. This was ये मोदी रैली जो था वो May 2016 वाला. And then correction started. It tested this line. You are following with me? You are with me? You guys are? See, this is how it just checked it. Similar thing happened. This was the breakout. And when the correction started, it tested the breakout line again. So, and now this time, this was the breakout earlier. And there are all the chances that we can test this line. Easy? It may take some time. See, यहाँ पे it took some time, but this was very fast. So Elliot doesn't talk too much about the timing. कि 2 महीना लगेगा, 1 महीना लगेगा, 6 महीना लगेगा. That is on you to guess. Okay, any question or something like this till now? कुछ समझ में नहीं आया हो या कुछ फिर से सोचना हो तो वी कैन मूव बैक टू दोज वेव्स. कुछ भी समझ में नहीं आया कि थोड़ा बहुत समझ में आया? थोड़ा बहुत भी नहीं आया? ओके, तो विल नॉट टेक टू मच इनटू द वेव पर्सनालिटी बिकॉज यही काफी हैवी है. अगर इतना समझ में आ गया वो भी बहुत है. सो इंस्टेड ऑफ वेव पर्सनालिटीज आई वुड लाइक टू टेक क्वेश्चन इफ यू हैव एनी अबाउट द मार्केट, अबाउट द एनीथिंग. Okay, what is the critics of waves? They say there are always more than one potential wave count in Elliot. So what I say is, okay, there are more than one count at any given point of time. There are 2 or 3. But if you are not using Elliot, then anyway there is infinite probability, right? At least Elliot take about some infinite probabilities. At least this takes out some of the probability and it leaves you with 2 or 3 possible wave counts. So it is better to have a wave count instead of dealing with all infinite possibilities. अच्छा, ये जो what I have made it, you can get the slides from DJ, right? And then read a bit more material downloading from internet or whatever sources, and now you will be able to find it out very easy to understand after you understand these slides. Otherwise directly book पढ़ोगे तो इतना समझ में नहीं आएगा. You read the slides again and then read the book, and then you should be able to find out to plot your waves on your chart. And if you still cannot plot it, then you can get in touch with me. This is my Twitter ID. I would be happy to help you out. Okay, so that's it. Any questions or anything about the charts or about anything else? Okay, guys. So that should be it. I think सबको सब कुछ समझ में आ गया, या फिर थोड़ा बहुत ही समझ में आया, फिर कुछ भी समझ में नहीं आया. थोड़ा बहुत किसको समझ में आया? हाँ, काफ़ी लोगों. That's more than enough. Okay, so that's it.